Hey guys, how you guys doing today? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So it is day two of the Diddy trial. Undoubtedly, this trial has to be, in my opinion, the trial of the century. This trial is even more publicized than the O.J. Simpson trial back in the day, right? So on day two of the trial, the Diddy trial, Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex girlfriend, of over 10 years, she takes the stand. Cassie is heavily pregnant. They said that her baby is due first week of June, so she's 9 months pregnant. So she's taking the stand. The prosecutors uh have her on the witness stand right now, right? So they're asking her questions. Some people, I've been listening to the blogs, by the way, right? So some of the bloggers are not understanding why they're seemingly asking her questions that are really not just going into the abusive nature of the relationship right away. And I think they don't understand because, in my opinion, they're doing this because they want to establish a pattern, right? So as the prosecutor, is she, as they go further into the question, and of course the things are going to get more graphic, right? And so I've been listening to the transcripts, like I said, from some of the bloggers, and also reading a couple of news articles, and so they're getting deeper and deeper into it. And I feel bad for Cassie. Just let me say, some people are saying it's making her look like she's a willing participant. At this point in time, people have to realize that there is a 17-year age difference between Cassie and Diddy. At the time she was 19 years old. He clearly groomed her. He had all the power and control. He's 17 years older than her. And people also have to understand she doesn't look like a willing participant to me, because he love bombed her, he manipulated her, he gaslit her. It was a domestic violence situation because, in my opinion, because he had all the power and control. So, and then she probably suffered from Stockholm syndrome, because she mentioned that she would get very jealous of him sleeping with other women at time, and it's because she really thought that she was in a equal relationship, right? Even though it was a domestic violence situation and he was grooming her. And so that's why some people on the internet, like Willie D Live, which is a piece of crap, which I will never watch his channel again because, oh, let me veer to the left for a minute. Willie D Live, you are a piece of crap for what you said about Cassie yesterday concerning her husband. You said you can't see how any man would wife her up. And I do not absolutely agree with that. And also, I don't agree with the fact that you are, slick defending Diddy. Now, clearly, this is not a mutually abusive relationship, right? This is a toxic relationship. Diddy signed her to a 10 record deal contract. They asked her, well, how many albums did you produce? She said 9. And she said, how many got released? After the first one, she said none. So he's got control over her career. He's got control over her financially. He's got control over her physically. When he's not around her, he's got people watching her. The security guard testified yesterday. One of the escorts that worked with testified yesterday. He said he began to feel uncomfortable. He started feeling scared for her. He told the jury a lot of the things that were done to her and that they had to do together. I mean, the whole thing is just really very sick, right? So, oh, and also I want to mention a lot of some people are confused about the X trafficking, and where that comes into play is the fact that Diddy was hiring these ex workers, and going from and sometimes taking them on trips with them, and all of this and all that. And they are ex workers, and he's paying them to do this and perform these acts on Cassie. And I believe, in my opinion, I'm have to say allegedly, uh, as well as perform them with him, right? And so that is where the X trafficking comes into play. And I also believe it comes into play concerning Cassie's testimony as well, because she stated that she didn't feel good about doing some of these things, right? And so today she's testifying about early on in the relationship. And people got to realize that when you're in a abusive relationship, especially when a person is so much older than you and they control all the power, they're going to do everything they can do to lure you in and make you feel comfortable, at first before they start laying hands on you, right? So Cassie's testifying, and here are a couple of the transcripts that they were said. I want to read this one because she's talking about the freak offs, right? She says the first time for the first freak off, Sean Combs Diddy arranged for a dancer, a escort, from Las Vegas to have X with Cassie Ventura. She testified they took ecstasy and drank alcohol. She says, adding that she felt dirty, quote unquote dirty, and confused after. It's because he made her take X and drink alcohol, right? But she felt she couldn't say no, continuing the encounters. See, that is the control, that is the power, that is the abuse, right? Says, quote, I didn't want to make him upset, she says. I didn't want to make him angry and regret telling me about his experience that was so personal. See, that's part of the love bombing, right? So I'm sure he told her a whole bunch of stuff about his childhood trauma. Some of it was probably the truth. A lot of it was probably a lie, to make her feel so sorry for him and, make her think the reason why he's doing these things to her and he has performing all these acts is because of what he went through as a child and all. It's manipulation, right? He's a manipulation. He's a demon. She said at one point in time when they would be engaging in the F offs, the longest one that she can remember lasted 4 days, y'all. 4 days of nothing but F off, and they would take IVs and do nothing but drugs and have X, for 4 days, and they would have to, take IVs so they, wouldn't get dehydrated, I guess, and whatever else, so they could continue going. She said that when these these freak offs were going on, his eyes were turned black. I said and he wasn't the person that she loved or that she thought she loved, right? And the reason why is because there was a demon inside of him, right? And so he was sucking her energy, performing these X rituals and stuff for as much as 4 days long. And that's what she was seeing, and that's why his eyes was turning black because she was seeing the demon come out in him, right? So anyway, that one said that, and this one she said, Cassie Ventura testifies that the freak offs could last 2 to 3 days with no sleep, despite her desire to rest. Drugs helped keep them awake, she says. Choking back tears. She was choking back tears when she was talking about this. I can't imagine her being 9 months pregnant and have to relive this trauma, right? And I'm like, oh my God, right? She testifies that the encounters made her feel disgusting and humiliated, which was the purpose of him doing it. She said Sean Combs was a different person during those events. His eyes go black. The version of him I was in love with was no longer there. She testifies, right? And we had just talked about that. Honey, she met that demon. She was fooling with that demon, right? So also, the jury saw emails between Cassandra and Sean Combs from 2010. This is early on in the relationship, right? Because they met in 29 or 20, 2009, 2010, right? Her contact name for him was Pop Pop. She testifies that he made her use that nickname for him because it was what she called her grandfather. I'm like, wait, what? So she got to call him Pop Pop because that's what she called her granddaddy? How sick is that? I thought she says, quote, I thought it was weird. She says on the stand, in retrospect, I would imagine she did think it was weird. Freaking weirdo. She said in the emails exchange, Ventura makes a actual invitation to Combs, and Combs responded by asking, want to call someone, right? So meaning he want her, to invite an escort or whatever, right? And I'm like, oh my god, right now mind you, she's doing all this stuff to please him. She's still really young at the time, and I mean, ain't no telling what he done filled her mind with, all this trauma. this pity party that he's giving her. Oh, the only reason why I'm beating you up is because I was raised like it's blah blah blah, right? So she thinks she's in love with him, but she's not. She's being manipulated, controlled. He's love bombing her. She's dealing with Stockholm syndrome and just a whole lot of stuff, right? So, honey, I was surfing, to see if any picture, what kind of pictures were on Google, right? So they've even got this picture of her with this bruise on her head, and it looked like the side of her face is swollen. Looks like she may have a black eye, And I'm like, oh my god. And they also said that yesterday, that the prosecution kept playing the video of them in the hotel, that CNN showed of him dragging her back to the hotel room. They kept playing it on a loop, and the defense, Diddy's attorneys, tried to make it seem like, oh, it was just a regular argument, because he wanted her phone and all this. How can you explain it away? It is nothing that they can say to explain this away, right? But they keep trying to explain it away. Oh, it was just a mutually abusive relationship. It was just a toxic relationship, and I was like, oh my god, it's a toxic relationship times 1,000, right? So also, I can't understand why in the world he would want his children to be in the courtroom, right? Because we can't see anything, but you got the court, the people, what do you call them? They're doing the pictures and everything, right? They're doing the court drawings, right? And so you see his mom there again today, his three daughters, and his sons and whatnot. But what must his daughters be thinking? Because I seen a photo of his daughters coming out of the courtroom today, and it looked like one of them had tears in her eyes, but I could not see it. I mean, I could not find it, but they're holding their heads down, coming out of the courtroom. I'm like, why would you want your kids, especially your daughters, there listening to all of this stuff that you did to this woman? Mind you, they know Cassie. They also was asking Cassie a lot of questions about Kim Porter. And I was like, this is very interesting, right? So I don't know if they were trying to establish a timeline. It's been said that allegedly Al B. Sure could testify because, the trial is supposed to go on for 8 weeks. By the time this trial is over with, Cassie will have given birth to her third child, for goodness sakes, right? And I'm like, oh my God, but I think that she is so brave. And also, Diddy is so sick. He is still trying to have some form of control, in my opinion, over Cassie. So the prosecutors, the defense, Diddy's lawyers, want the judge to not allow Cassie's husband to be in the trial. Diddy doesn't want him to sit in the audience, right? And I'm like, why would he not want him to sit in there? And my thinking is, because clearly her husband is her support system. So I'm thinking Diddy is thinking that if he's not in the courtroom, then Cassie won't be so strong, she won't tell, everything that he did to her, right? So whether Alex is in the courtroom or not, I think that Cassie is going to tell everything from her suspect, from, what all of the years of abuse and all of the horrible things that she had to endure for him, right? And then not only that, she's also kept evidence all these years, because they say that allegedly got evidence on laptop computers and on phones and everything, and she kept all of that, right? And she gave it to, the prosecution, which is why she is testifying so early on. And I think that Cassie clearly is a whistleblower. I don't think that Diddy would be in jail right now, in my opinion, if it were not for Cassie, right? Cassie and her lawyer. If it were not for Cassie and her lawyer, I don't think that he would be in jail right now. And this is his just desert. Karma is everything. But as far as him not wanting her husband in the courtroom, I'm thinking, he's thinking she's gonna break down if she don't see her husband. But honey, Cassie done been through so much, she's not gonna break down. She gonna be all right whether he's in there or not, right? Oh, and they also showed, they say that they showed text messages or played voicemails of, Alex, Cassie's husband, threatening Diddy that if he comes, near her again, he's going to do something to him. Why wouldn't he threaten him? I'm like, oh, okay, you still trying to intimidate this woman, right? So anyway, he got his kids, he got his whole family in there. He's this drawing of him shows him, making the love, the heart sign, his to his family members, and he's all gray haired and all of this and all that, trying to appear feeble, but they say that, really he's looking really healthy, because I guess because he been in jail. Charlie ain't been doing no drugs or nothing, right? So, but acting like it's just not a problem at all. And in my opinion, he really thinks he's going to get off scot free, because remember they offered him a plea deal and he didn't accept it. So, in my opinion, he thinks that he's going to get off scot free. But what everybody is waiting on right now is for the defense to start questioning Cassie. Now, if they go too hard on this pregnant woman that is due to give birth at any point in time, I don't think that it's going to bode well with the jury. It's not going to be a very good look. But we're going to have to wait and see what the defense attorneys, how they're going to examine Cassie. Right? I'm sure it's going to be brutal. They're going to have to, because they're trying to make it seem like, hey, they were equally involved in this toxic relationship, but this relationship was not balanced. It was not fair. And he abused her, and he had all the power. So, but we're gonna have to wait and see how they play it. Um, it's just horrible, y'all, and I can't wait and who knows who all they're gonna ask to take. I'm excited for to see who else take the stand. I know Tisa Tells, which I've been getting a lot of tea from her child, and she was there at the courtroom yesterday, and while she was waiting to go inside, little Rob was there, honey, looking casket sharp, honey, looking casket sharp, like he was finna hit the stand yesterday. I hope they call him to testify. I'm sure they will. I can't wait to see what he has to say. I can't wait to see what else is going to come out today. But what I know for sure is some people are so dense and so goofy that they really think that this testimony right here by Cassie saying, "Yeah, I was jealous sometime," and "Yeah, this that," they're so dense that they don't realize that this relationship, if you can call it that, was not a relationship at all. It was about power and control and abuse, in my opinion. But anyway, we're gonna have to wait and see what else comes out. That's all I got for right now. Thank you guys for watching me. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Bye bye. Peace.